Welcome to Choice and Chance. My name is Bob. This is my sister Grace. Let's roll for who gets to introduce their character first.
Got it.
8.
5. Wow.
It's me! My name is Inesto Cofea. I'm a barbarian. Most people think that means that I rage to get all my power. But I'll tell you, it's a little different than that. It all started when I was back in the mines. Mining for gold. Unfortunately, if you're not one of the lucky ones, you don't get gold. You get a bunch of gravel. And you know what? It's not fun to get a bunch of gravel over and over again. And this anger started building within me. But I decided, you know what? Maybe I can get gold a different way. So I graveled up all my gravel and I started carting it to the nearest town to sell. And I did. I got a little bit of gold each time I carted it. But I finally amassed enough to buy a shipment of gold from other dwarves to sell. And when I was pushing my little wheelbarrow back to the capital with all that gold, you know what happened? My tire broke. Spilled my gold everywhere. And right as that happened, I looked over and I saw this bear. And something just snapped and I was finally free. I saw the bear and I just saw what I needed to do. I just lifted that cart of gold and I replaced that tire. But I was free. I was finally free. There was no longer this burning resentment inside of me. So once I got it replaced, I continued down the road. And you know what I did? I hit a pothole. And once again, there was this release. And right as it happened, I looked up and I saw this eagle. And then from then on, my eyesight was so much clearer. I was so much freer. And finally, I get back on the road and I'm pushing my cart and I make it to the capital. And I get to the gate. I'm there too late. The city gates are closed. But I did all this work. I'm not gonna waste it right now. So I grabbed my cart and I just lost it once more. And at the same time, I saw another eagle and I was like, that's it. That's what I need. And I grabbed my cart and I just flew right over that city gate. And then I sold my gold, but I sold it for less than what I bought it for. So I got into the gladiatorial market. I decided if I can't mine for gold and if I can't be a merchant for gold, I'm gonna kill for gold. That's my character.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. A story of Anisoria. She grows up in a backcountry little town, small little village out in the outskirts of nowhere that nobody's ever heard of. She's a tiefling, grows up in a tiefling family, very large family, 7 brothers, 3 sisters, but they are a close-knit family. They're always playing and working together, and yeah, everybody has little fights and tiffs, but they're all family, they all love each other, they move on. Well, when she turns about 16, in this backwater town, a group of goblins come through and decimate the town. And when they come through her family's farm, she, for the first time, starts to show that she has magic. And she kills a bunch of goblins, saves her entire family, and she becomes like the hero of her family. And her village works to like restore itself, and she is the hero, and everything is working out fine. But her magic starts to get a little bit out of control, and she starts to have flare-ups. And while nobody dies, some people do get hurt. And so her family is a little bit worried. And so they scrounge all of the money that they have. They get together and they say, Anisoria, you need to go to the capital because you have to learn to control your magic. We love you, but we need to think about our family and the safety of everybody around. So here's what we were able to get. Get yourself to the capital, learn how to control your magic, and then come back to us. Anisoria has never been more than 10 miles from home, but she takes her family's hard-earned money and she says, I'm going to do this. I want to make sure that my family is safe as well. So she sets out on the road. Of course, she is this very naive 16-year-old tiefling, unaware of the real world and how cruel it can be. So she hits the road and pretty much instantly gets robbed. A bunch of misfortunes befall her on the road, but she's determined to get to the capital and to control her magic. So instead of turning around, she continues on her way. Well, she gets to the capital and she realizes that city life is way different than country life. She tries to get into the School of Sorcerers, but they won't accept her because she is not part of any prestigious family. She doesn't have any money. There's no reason for them to let her in. So once again, she's forced to either take the hard way and just figure it out in the city, or to go back home and potentially hurt her family. So she decides to stick with it. She stays in the city with no money, no friends. She hits the street for about 2 or 3 years. She steals, she does whatever she can just to barely survive, barely make it through. Until one day she's on the streets, she's walking around and she comes across this door that she opens. Little does she know that it's a secret passage to the arena, which is where the gladiators fight. And so she gets into this arena for free. She watches these gladiators fight and she thinks, I could do that. I can do that, and if my magic flares out, all the better. That's what the arena is for. So she signs up to become a gladiator and she hits the arena hard. This becomes what she does to try and control her magic. This is what she does to try and survive. And she ends up being very, very good at it. And not only good at it, she really enjoys it. She goes through some crises where she's like, ugh, is it good that I enjoy killing people in the arena? But she works through it. And finally, she gets enough money and she kind of controls her magic enough to where she says, I can go back home. I've done it. My family will be safe. And so she takes her earnings and everything and heads back to the country life. Everybody's so excited to see her and they welcome her with open arms and just glad that she makes it back. So she makes it back. She, goes back to country life. And after a few months of this, she worked so hard to become the country girl that she was. But the arena calls to her. She didn't realize it, but the arena is really where she belongs. So she has to sit down with her family and be like, hey, this is where I belong and I'm going back. And her family doesn't like that option for her. And so she ends up leaving on bad terms with her family to go back to the arena. And it takes years, but she spends years in the arena, spends years reaching out to her family. And finally, at one point, her family comes and watches her in the arena. And again, she's family, they're family. Even though they don't like her life choices, she's still part of the family. So they accept her and sometimes come and watch her in the arena every now and then.
All right.
That's Anisoria, aka Death Toll.